The following matters will come before today's License Commission meeting. This is our regularly scheduled meeting. The meeting is previously filed with the city clerk. We're going to take the agenda out of order today because we do have some issues and some witnesses that we want to get to so that they can go on their way. The first item that we're going to deal with is the last item on the agenda would be item number 9. This is MFRP Corporation, DBA The Squire, 604 Squire Road. Peter DePisa is the manager. Is Mr. DePisa here? Anybody representing the Squire here? Well, it doesn't make much sense to proceed, although I hate to tie up your time. You want to proceed with the hearing?
Well, I don't think we can without both parties here. We were under the understanding that Mr. DePisa had to be here early for another commitment, plus we have the officers sitting here. So I don't see how we can move forward with this hearing today.
Very good. I'll proceed to the next issue. Sorry about that. We'll go with the items back in order. Item number 1, Santa Fe Supermarket Corp., 760 Broadway. Linda M. Sandoval Diaz is the manager. This is an application for a transfer of a malt wine package store license. The application of Santa Fe Supermarket Corp. to transfer the license from Siona Management, Inc., said license to be exercised at 760 Broadway. Is there someone here from Santa Fe Supermarket Corp.? Would you step up to the microphone, please? Press the button. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Linda Sandoval, address 760 Broadway, Revere, Santa Fe Supermarket.
Very good. And can you tell me briefly what it is you'd like to do with this license?
So we have a grocery store that also has a liquor license as well previously. So we will be selling beer and wine in the store.
Very good. Have you ever been in the business of selling beer and wine before?
No, it would be the first time.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Okay, I guess so. I'm just looking to see if we had a diagram of the store, how you will, oh, I guess it's right here. Okay, so whereabouts will you be putting this beer and wine license?
So,
The pool is, okay. Is that right at the entrance is where the alcohol is going to be stored?
yes, at the entrance in the fridges that are on the right side of the store.
Okay. And are you going to, what hours will you be there, or who will be the manager?
So I'll be the manager, and the hours of operation are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
To 10 p.m. So the entrance is here, goes right to
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you've had no experience with any alcohol, service of alcohol?
No, it would be the first time in the store.
This will be the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the previous owner, is he going to be there at all, at any time, to work with you on the transfer?
I believe so, if I ask him.
He would, okay. I'm just concerned where you've never handled the alcohol before, and I'm kind of concerned about right at the entrance having your alcohol. Is that something you've looked into, that you want to put it right there?
So that's where they had it, in the fridges that we have. So we have the entrance right here, and there are a set of 13 fridges on the right side of the store.
Right.
So that's where they had them previously.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Do you have any, the machine to check IDs, or what's the procedure going to be for checking IDs?
So every time someone goes into the store to purchase alcohol, we'll ask for ID and we'll make sure that they are 21 years old and older to purchase.
Are you TIPS qualified or certified? Have you taken any training on recognizing intoxicated individuals who might come into the store?
No training.
Do you have any experience in dealing with patrons in a situation where they may be intoxicated?
No experience.
Okay.
This is a very different license handling alcohol. It's very different from a supermarket. I would like to see a little more training or a little more, confidence that you're able to handle this. Not that you wouldn't be able to, but do you know all the rules and regulations? And as my colleague said, they have these machines that you use, because we know, as the police officers can tell you, sometimes they come in with phony IDs, and you have to be able to recognize that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little concerned with not being tip certified, not having anyone with the turnover from you to at least show you what to do when you have a liquor license. I don't know. I just wish you could assure me a little bit more that we'd be comfortable that you would know what to do in a situation of, maybe someone coming in with a phony ID, causing a little bit of a problem, and
Yeah, I wasn't aware that there was training required or needed to have that license.
well, usually we ask everyone to be SIP certified, right? Tip certified. I think a little training is in order to get a liquor license to be qualified, so.
Well, I understand. We're going to close this section of the hearing. I will ask for any proponents. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of Santa Fe Market receiving this license? I don't see or hear anybody. I'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the issuance of the license? I don't see or hear anybody. We will open up to a general discussion and a motion, and I have to tell you that I am not comfortable transferring this license to you at this time, personally, because I just don't see that you have the requisite experience to deal with the alcohol situation. I see that your background is in real estate. Is that what you've been doing? My suggestion would be that you receive some training in the tips, and you do some research on the service of alcohol, and then maybe reapply. There are only two of us here today, and so if one of us disagrees, we can either put it over to the next meeting when there'll be three people, or you can withdraw your application and reapply at another time when you think that you would be able to answer some of these questions. So at this point, I'm not prepared to act on this license. And since there are only two of us, we're going to have to either put it over, or we can put it over, or you can withdraw it. But at this point, we're not going to be issuing that license today. Okay? Thank you very much.
Are we giving her a choice to reapply or just a continuance to end
Well,
this hearing?
do you want to continue until there's three of us here? Or would you like to withdraw it and reapply? You'll continue until next month?
May I recommend, if you do continue this, that when you do come back in a month, you have some training and maybe get your tip certified in order, so that this board can vote on it. So a continuance is fine with me if that's where my colleague wants to go. Is that?
All right, so we'll continue this for a month, and we'll see you back at the next meeting.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you. Item number 2.
Did DePisa come in?
Yes.
Oh.
Item number 2, Auto Boss Group, Inc., 1107 North Shore Road. Breno Rodriguez Rosa is the president. This is an application for a transfer of a Class 2 motor vehicle dealer's license. The application of Auto Boss Group, Inc., for a transfer of the license from Smart Buy Auto Group, said license to be exercised at 1107 North Shore Road. The operating hours are to be Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the maximum numbers for cars for sale on the lot will remain at 17. Is there someone here from Auto Boss Group? If you'd step up to the microphone, please, sir, and identify yourself, name and address for the record.
Yes, Breno Rodriguez Rosa, 1107 North Shore Road, Revere, Auto Boss Group.
Very good. And can you explain what you'd like to do with this license, please?
So our plan is to sell used cars on that location. The lot for 17 cars.
Sean.
Okay. Do you
you wanted to-
have any questions for this gentleman?
Well, the current owner is not here, the current license holder. You're the current license holder. Just a couple of questions. I've gone by there on numerous occasions. What is the work being done there? I
Sorry?
see the work that I see being done. There's a fire station on Freeman Street there. Exactly
Yes.
what are you doing on that, in that area there?
So the last job that we did there, we just did the seal coat in there on the ground,
Okay,
and we put some chains around and the pipes around to keep it closed, because people was walking through the
Right.
lot, and my partner and I, we cleaned the sidewalk. The sidewalk wasn't that, we clean it, and then after you close, so people are able to walk through the sidewalk instead through the lot.
okay. There was no enlarging of the lot at that time, was there?
No,
There wasn't any?
No.
So it's the same as it was with the previous owner?
exactly.
Okay. Looks a lot better.
Thank you.
I have to tell you, you've done a good
Thank you.
job.
Thank you.
Because I do go by there quite often, but I was just concerned because I saw the wall, and I didn't know what you were doing over there with that wall that's up.
It was more like a cleaning stuff just to make it,
Just
look
cleaning out
nice,
the-
yes.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Very good. So you're going to be basically doing the same business that the previous gentleman did?
Exactly the same thing.
Very good. We're going to close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of Auto Boss Group, Inc., and the transfer of this license? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to the transfer? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. I would make a motion that we approve.
I'll second that motion.
Very good.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
God
The
bless you guys.
application for a transfer of a Class 2 motor vehicle dealer license of Auto Boss Group, Inc., 1107 North Shore Road. Breno Rodriguez Rosa, as the president, is approved for the transfer from Smart Buy Auto Group. The license will be exercised at 1107 North Shore Road. The operating hours are to be Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the maximum numbers of cars for sale on the lot will remain at 17.
That's right.
Thank you very much, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
Item number 3, Boston Wounded Vet Motorcycle Run, 649-1 Squire Road. Andrew Biggio is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day entertainment license. Application of Boston Wounded Vet Motorcycle Run, excuse me, for a one-day entertainment license to be exercised at 649-1 Squire Road. on Sunday, May 22nd, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. The event is a veterans motorcycle event. The entertainment will consist of a DJ and band. The expected attendance is 3,000. Is there someone here from Boston Wounded Vet Motorcycle? Would you step up to the podium, please, sir? Your name and address for the record?
My name is Matt Cunningham. I'm here representing the Boston Wounded Vet Run. I live at 28 Baldwin Ave in Everett.
Very good, Mr. Cunningham. Can you explain briefly what this event is?
Basically what it is a wounded veterans motorcycle run, and the goal of the Wounded Vet Run is to raise money for the more severely wounded veterans, like upgrades to their houses so they can get around, transportation, things like that. Sometimes it might just be money to get them above water, but that's basically it.
Very good. Have you coordinated with the police department as far as traffic? And
Yes, I'm actually a police officer in Everett, and I run the escort portion of it, and there's always a big police presence there, mostly volunteers from different departments trying to help out the veterans.
Very good. Is there a detail situation here, Lieutenant?
Our traffic department has it all covered. We do this every year, so.
Very good. Do you have any questions for this gentleman, Commissioner?
Actually, there's no questions. It's a great event. I'm glad that, people like yourself that run this, that can help the vets. So no, I'm be honored to vote for this.
Thank you very much. We'll close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf of the Boston Wounded Vet Motorcycle Run? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the wounded veterans? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. I would make a motion that we approve it.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The application for a one-day entertainment license of Boston Wounded Vet Motorcycle Run for the one-day entertainment license to be exercised at 649-1 Squire Road on Sunday, May 22nd, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Have a good day.
You too. Item number 4, the neighborhood developers, Shirley Avenue Municipal Parking Lot. Rasha Michaela is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day entertainment license. The application of the neighborhood developers for a one-day entertainment license to be exercised at the Shirley Ave Municipal Parking Lot on Saturday, September 24th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. with a rain date of October 1st. I understand there's been a change in that date, so you can explain it when you come up. And this is an event for the Shirley Ave Cultural Festival. The entertainment will be a DJ, a photo booth, face painting, henna painting, and dance performances. Your name and address for the record, please.
Rasha Mikhail, 330 Paradise Road, Swampscott.
Very good. Can you tell us a little bit about the event, please?
It's an annual event that we've been putting since 2014 by the Revere Community Committee and the support of the neighborhood developer, the City of Revere, and the police department. It's to celebrate diversity around Shirley Ave neighborhood. And it's about it's an entertainment, like there is DJ, music, different performance will be there that represent the different group that around the area.
And you want to change the date to be October 1st, Saturday?
That's correct, because we just found that there is the Fall Festival on September 24th, so we don't want to interfere with that. So we want to change it to October 1st, and rain date would be October 2nd.
Very good. Do you have any questions for that?
I have no questions. It's another great event that we hold in the city of Revere, and goes off very well. We've had no problems, and I think everyone enjoys it. So no, I have no questions.
Very good. We'll close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody who would like to speak on behalf of the neighborhood developers?
Ira Novoselsky, 53D Home Street, Ward 2 Counselor. This is the 9th time we've run this event. We missed it 2020 because the COVID. So we're starting it up again, and we're moving it up to municipal lot instead of Sandler Square this year. So we love doing it, and the people love coming to it, and we appreciate all your help. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Are there any other proponents? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of the neighborhood developers? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anyone opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the issuance of this one-day entertainment license? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. I would make a motion that we approve.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The application for a one-day entertainment license of neighborhood developers to be exercised at the Shirley Avenue Municipal Lot on Saturday, October 1st, with a rain date of Sunday, October 2nd, for the annual Shirley Ave Cultural Festival. The entertainment will consist of a DJ, a photo booth, face painting, henna painting, and dance performances. That license is approved. Thank you very much. I'd make a motion to go out of order.
Fine with me.
Very good. Item number 9, MFRP Corporation, DBA The Squire, 604 Squire Road. Peter DePies is the manager. This is a hearing into an incident which occurred back in February, and this is continued from the last meeting. Your name and address for the record, please,
Peter
sir.
DePisa, 604 Squire Road.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We have some of a couple, actually, the officer who was on detail that day. What I'd like to do is hear from him if we could,
Okay,
and then we'll have an idea of what we're talking about.
perfect.
Would the officer like to come up to the podium, please? Your name and address for the record, please, officer?
Daniel Marks, 400 River Beach Parkway.
Very good. And obviously, you're a member of the Revere Police Department?
Yes, sir.
And
Patrolman.
I think we've all seen the videotape. Can you tell us in your own words exactly what, from your perception, what occurred that evening?
Sure, that evening I was working the detail from 10:30 to 2:30 a.m. I was by the front door. Around 1:30 a.m., some of the employees and bouncers got my attention that there was a fight in the back corner. As I made my way back there, it was a little difficult because there was a lot of people back there. But as I got back there were a few people fighting, and only escalated from there. As I got to the back where the main problem was, one of the employees back there pointed behind the bar. A couple of people were behind the bar fighting. As I made my way behind the bar, I saw at least 2 people fighting, and as I was making my way back there to break up the fight, someone actually tried to jump on top of me. They jumped on the bar and tried to jump on top of me, but I was able to push them away. As I got my attention away from him, I focused my attention on the fight behind the bar. There were 2 people behind there. As I was trying to separate it, all of a sudden I heard glass breaking in front of me. And so the person in front of me, directly in front of me, got bottled over the head with, I believe it was a 750 bottle. After that happened, I made my way and lunged over there to try to separate them. I actually tackled both of them. The person that actually hit the individual with the bottle, he ran towards the front of the establishment. I didn't see him ever after that because it was dark. As I got back up, the individual that had actually got hit over the head with the bottle, he grabbed me, thinking that I was someone trying to fight him. I made my explanation that I'm a police officer. I'm here to help you. Instantly, it's a little dark in there, so I couldn't see the actual cut at the time, but I could feel, like as I was grabbing onto him to get him to calm down, I could feel his blood coming down on my hands, my uniform and all that stuff, and it was like that warm sensation, so I knew it was blood. I called for backup when I originally got the notification from the bouncers that there was a fight. I called for backup and medical aid then, and as I was behind the bar trying to tend to this individual's injuries that he sustained to his forehead, there was 2 lacerations that were still bleeding profusely. I looked to my right, and there were more people behind the bar now. I couldn't tell you the exact number of the people that were behind the bar with me at that time, but I was outnumbered. At that point, someone actually from my department came in, hearing the backup. He was outside, he came inside. As I look to my right, I hear someone screaming that someone on the floor is biting my leg. So I look down, and someone's actually trying to take a chunk out of the guy's leg. I grabbed him, I pushed him away. I couldn't find out, because it was so chaotic, where the individual that got bottled was, because my attention was being brought other places, because every time I turned around, another fight was breaking out. We eventually started to clear the bar out. Not a lot of people were leaving, but we were trying to break up every single fight. As we were doing that, these rowdy individuals were grabbing glasses behind the bar that were on top of the bar for people's glasses during the night and chucking them around the establishment that almost hit myself and other officers that were there. We eventually did clear people out. People started to leave, and I tried to find out what happened. So what I got was, there was a female in there that got her chain snatched around her neck, is what I was told, that started this whole incident in the VIP section a little bit, I'd say probably 10 feet away from where I was originally when I got behind the bar. And that was basically it. We cleared everyone out. We tried to figure out what happened. I found out what happened. I talked to a couple of managers in there. They said the incident happened with the woman's chain being snatched, and that led to just one person seeing a fight and then everyone else getting rowdy and just wanting to fight someone. As we did that, I was inside trying to figure that out. I found out that actually while I was inside trying to figure out what happened, someone got arrested outside. I can't really speak to what happened out there because I wasn't out there. You would have to ask the officer that arrested the individual outside. But that was practically the incident that happened that night.
Was there only one arrest made, and that was the arrest that was made out in the parking lot?
That's correct.
Now, from your perspective, what could have been done, or how did you think the establishment handled that situation? And what can be done to prevent that going forward?
I think just having more officers in there. There's a presence, that's it. To be honest with you. I can't make suggestions like that. I'm just a patrolman. I bring my issues to my lieutenants and my commanding officers, and they make those assessments.
Did you think that the security staff was adequate and performed in a way that was fostering safety, or did it seem to be chaotic and confused?
It was chaotic and confusing, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any questions for the officer?
I do. Would you say they were intoxicated, overserved? Could you tell that?
I can't, I wouldn't know that.
You weren't able to say that?
No, I
Well,
can't say that.
You know, I'm a little concerned. What were they doing behind the bar? Or did the fight start maybe in front of the bar and then ended up behind the bar? I mean,
I know people were
there's-
jumping on top of the bar and going behind the bar.
And going behind the bar, because I'm sure there had to be a couple of bartenders behind there that, how they got behind the bar and still fighting. And you're saying there was only one arrest made
That's correct.
out of,
Outside. Due to the chaotic nature, and I was more concerned about my safety at that point, because if I went hands-on with someone and tried to arrest someone, I wouldn't know what would happen. I could get outnumbered. My focus was just separating everyone that was fighting and getting them away from each other and pushing them towards the exit.
yeah.
That's-
In, just as you observed the evening, you worked there for the evening? You were inside for the evening?
Correct.
Would you say these patrons were there for the evening or a couple of hours, or did you recognize them throughout the night of being there, or were they late comers to your?
To be honest with you, I can't say for sure. I don't know if they came in later or if they were there the whole night. I
Okay.
can't say for a fact.
So you wouldn't be sure if you had seen them
Correct.
through the night if they were there? Yeah, it's very concerning to me when officers, end up in a problem like that at a bar. I would think that they should be staffed with enough security to help out at that time. And do you feel they had that?
I can't say the amount of number of security guards they had, but working in the past there, I know they have 4 or 5 at least that work in there. They work in the front, they work in the back section where the fight actually happened by the VIP section. I know they're portioned out throughout the entire establishment to find fights like that and signal the officers' attention to come and help break up the fights.
And they came to your aid when they saw this going on?
I can't say for sure my head was on a swivel, to be honest with you.
Okay, thank you.
Officer, do you know that does the security staff have, do they have flashlights? Do they have radios? Do you know anything about their equipment and their training or anything like that? Do you have meetings beforehand as far as what to do in particular situations?
As far as the meetings, no, I know they have flashlights though, and they flash them with the strobe light whenever they have like issues or they're trying to direct attention towards some sort of issue.
And are you typically stationed near the door, or are you stationed in the foyer, or what is, when you go there, what is your expected duty assignment?
So when I get there, I usually stand at the front door in case there's any sort of issues. If little problems occur where people get a little upset on certain childish stuff that I've seen in the past, the management will take care of it where I don't have to get involved, where I'm not needed. I'm only really needed in instances like this where things get out of hand, where I can go hands-on, where sometimes they can't, or the security guards can't.
Very good. Have you noticed what time they stop letting people in? What's the protocol for that?
I know it's on the front door that they close the doors at 1:10.
And was that your impression that this evening that they closed the doors at 1:10 and didn't allow anybody else in?
Yes, at that night, I don't believe anyone else was coming in. I know the incident happened at 1:30 a.m., and I believe the doors were already shut at that point.
Thank you very much. I don't have any questions. Any other questions? Thank you.
No problem.
Lieutenant, would you approach, please?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant. Your name, please?
My name's Thomas Malone. I'm a lieutenant with the Revere Police Department.
Lieutenant, from your perspective, what is the overall situation at the Squire? How would you characterize the situation there?
Is there every night a problem? No. But the nature of the business entails that there is going to possibly be a problem. This is one of the only establishments in the city. I'm the platoon commander for one part of the patrol division. We have to send the shift nights down to this one establishment to close it. Are there problems that night? No. We have to be in the parking lot to ensure that people go to their cars. Who's coming out of the building yelling? Who's coming screaming? We're trying to get everybody into their cars so that they leave in an orderly fashion. This is a nightly thing, especially on the weekends. My partner had mentioned about what time the doors close. I believe the doors are closing now a little earlier because of the situation that this officer just attested to. You have this establishment charging a fee to get into the building at certain times. Patrons are coming from outside the city because a lot of the surrounding community, as you're well aware, has a liquor license that ends at 1 o'clock. Ours ends at 2. People are not coming that late at night for their first drink. In my opinion, based on what I've seen in this establishment and other establishments that have 2 o'clock licenses, people are coming to our city for last call that have already had drinks in them. Add that to the type of business in the establishment and the patrons that this establishment's attracting, which is not Revere residents for the most part. These are out-of-towners coming to our city for last call, and they're paying a fee. Sometimes it's a minimum of $30, and I've heard it goes up to other amounts of money depending on if there's an event, they got a special DJ. These people, when they come at 1 o'clock, 1:10, if that's what time they're really closing the door, they're expecting to get more than one drink. They're expecting to get several drinks. How are these people supposed to be served if they only have a few bartenders? And then how are they supposed to get out of the establishment? These people drink and they're served almost up until 2 o'clock. Even if they stop at 1 o'clock, they say, oh, they cut off the line at 1:45, or whatever the number is. How long does it take to serve somebody? How long does it take somebody to drink a couple beers between 1:45 and 2 o'clock when they have to leave the establishment. It's foolhardy to think that. You could put as many security people in that establishment as you want. The problem is the time of the license, it should be 1 o'clock. And it should be, so we're not dragging people, rushing to the city. That would help. I cannot afford, especially with the summer months coming on. Some nights, we only have a minimum manning, and I'm not gonna get into all our staffing levels, but sometimes it's a minimum manning of, we have 10 on an AM shift. If I have to send 5 to 6 officers down to the Squire to close it at closing time, that's other services that the police officers aren't providing to the rest of the community. We don't have to go down and close other establishments. We have to go down and close the Squire. It's a problem. It seemed it kind of subsided when we had the liquor license across the city at 1 o'clock, and the powers to be decided to raise it to 2 again, and that ended up being now why we're having more problems. I fear for my office's safety. We sometimes have 2 detail officers there. There was a while when the Squire, when we came out of COVID and they reopened, they said they were in financial straits. They couldn't afford to pay 2 detail officers. We only had 1 detail officer there. You could put 2, you could put 5 in that. It's still the nature of the business. When people are rushing into an establishment at 1, and you're at 1:10, 1:15, whatever the time they're closing the door now, and they're paying that money for their last call, they're expecting to drink. They're expecting to drink, and more than 1 drink. And like I said, I believe most of them are coming there having already been to other establishments, knowing that this is a last call establishment. That's the nature of the problem. If you have like a specific question, I'd be more than happy to try to answer it.
Well, no, I appreciate your perspective on this. I suppose, given the framework that we're operating under, is there anything that you feel the establishment could be doing based on the situation as it exists today, as far as the license goes and the time and the parameters that we're dealing with? Is there a situation that they could do that would make it better?
I'll die on the hill on this one. I believe it should be a 1 o'clock license for the Squire and establishments like this in the city. We don't want last call establishments in the city anymore. You know, we are, the summer months are coming upon us. We see that the uptick in crime across the country is happening exponentially. We have limited resources, and for one establishment to continue to drain those resources, I think that in and of itself is the problem. They can put more security staff on. We could, like I said, hire 10 more police officers to be down there nights. You know, it might curtail it, but when I have to send the shift down there, we're not doing this to other establishments. Oh, there are problems in other establishments. An officer that has a detail, or there might be a patron, but we're not sending the shift down there to close it. We might have to go down there for a loud noise complaint, or maybe there is a fight in an establishment. We go down and address it. I would have to see what recommendations the Squire would like to make to this body to see what they think the problems are and what they think they would like to do. Once they come up with the plan, then I would have to take it under advisement along with the command staff of the department to see if that's suitable. But until they come up with a realistic plan, I think the license should be 1 o'clock. Because for me, and I mean no disrespect to the owners that are here, it's a cash grab after 1 o'clock. They're trying to make as much money as they can. That's why they charge the door fee to get in. That's not a deterrent, that door fee, because if it was, they wouldn't get the amount of people that are coming into that business as they do. So I'd like to see what they have to recommend, and then maybe we could work with them. But as of right now, I think part of the biggest part of the problem is the license going to 2 o'clock.
I just have a couple of questions I'd like to ask. I guess you answered one of them. You figure there's about 5 officers that are tied up at closing time we have to send there. What I don't understand is if we have to use 5 officers to and tie it up with other things that are going on in the city. We just had a very tough weekend, unfortunately, and we don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know why the city of Revere are paying the police to go there. I think if we have to pay the police to go there at closing time, they should have to pay it as detail. I don't think that should come out of taxpayers' dollars. That's number one. Number two, I will say I was a proponent for the 1 o'clock license. I did vote for the 1 o'clock license. It worked out very well. I'm proud to say that. On the other hand, it was changed to 2 o'clock. 99% of the bars respected that 2 o'clock license they got back. They learned that we will roll back the hours. And as you said, the nature of the business in any bar, people drink, things are going to happen, there's going to be arguments, and that is the nature of the business. Can you tell me the night that this happened, how many people would you think were in at that time, were in the establishment at that time of the night?
I was not there personally, but from the officers, I was off that night, but from the officers that I spoke with afterwards, said it was nearly full. So I don't know what their capacity number is off the top of my head, but they said it was a good-sized crowd in there that night.
Okay, at that hour.
At that hour.
It was still full. Yeah, it's very concerning. And like you say, I'm more concerned. We have summer months. I would like to know if we need police officers for any other reason to help someone that may be hurt, that, we don't need to tie them directing traffic out of a private parking lot. And I strongly, strongly urge, I don't know this board or whoever has the authority to do that they should have to pay. If this is the norm of sending them down every time they close, then there should be a fee to the establishment, because we shouldn't be babysitting a license. Everyone knows the rules and regulations of their liquor license. And like I say, I was said I punished everyone because of a few bad apples, so I rolled the hours back to 1 o'clock. So I don't expect that to happen again, but those that have not learned from it, maybe we do have to look at the hours, because I'm not here to put any police officer in jeopardy or to get hurt or to really shortchange the residents of the cities, the taxpayers, that may need a police officer for help. And we're not going to be able to get them because you're directing traffic out of the square. So that to me is very upsetting. And I do know the nature of the business. It happens, people drink, that's what happens. I've seen that for years. But you got to have more control. You've got to have control. It can't happen. It can't be allowed to happen. Okay, so I know he's been in the business for many, many years. Before then, his uncle, and many years, it was well under control, no problems, But I, for the summer, don't want to see 5 police officers in a parking lot at 2 o'clock. So thank you very much for your help.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Mr. DePisa, you've heard the police version of events and what they feel about the situation. What do you have to say about that?
Okay, well, I'd like to address a couple of things. I think the officers do a great job. Dan did a great job that night. It was my manager's security staff that took the 2 guys off of behind the bar. So my security staff stopped what they were doing to protect the police officer. I'd like to let that known. The guy never got bottled behind the bar. He jumped over the bar to get away from the fight and smashed his head off all the bottles. As far as people rushing in for last call, the people that fought that night were gang members, okay? The same people that fought down Revere Beach. They fight because there's no repercussions. They know if they get arrested, they're out that evening. They have no respect for police officers, myself or anyone else. So we barred everybody that night from that incident. They've tried to come in for the last 6 weeks, and they get turned away. We put up no trespassing signs. When they keep coming up, the officers say, listen, you have 1 warning, get off the property or we're going to arrest you for trespassing. They don't come back anymore. They get the picture. They never come into that establishment. This was an isolated incident. As far as overcrowding, our capacity is 275 people. That night was a Sunday. There was less than 100 people in the building. The people that fought were gang members that fought each other. okay? It was over the boyfriend and girlfriend situation about buying a drink. The reason why we charge $30 at the cover charge is because they do not drink from 1 o'clock on. Today's culture, they smoke so much marijuana, they don't want to drink. So they're coming there to meet their friends, pick up girls, to go to an after party. That's what the culture does today. So they're not rushing there to get last call and bang out 3 drinks. So that's not the problem. Alcohol wasn't related to this problem. It's today's culture that's related to this problem. As far as we could put 10 police officers on. If 2 gang members are gonna fight, they're gonna fight. We can't predict that future. I'm sorry what happened that night. I hope it never happens again. But we run a great establishment. As far as people that wanna come there, the police officers wanna help out another detail, we have detail officers. If they choose to call their friends that are working that night to come down and help them out, we should be penalized for that. The 2 officers are more than capable enough to clear the parking lot. They choose to bring other officers on because they probably want to be at the Squire rather than sitting down Revere Beach. I don't control where they go. As far as what we did to implement everything, we hired an outside security company. He watched that videotape for hours. There should have been 15 known arrests that night. Assault and battery with a short foot, assault and battery dangerous weapon. There was 1 arrest for disorderly conduct. I can't control that. Since then, we added the 12 cameras. We added spotlights to lighten up the crowd so they don't hang around. It's too bright to hang around at 2 o'clock in the morning. We have an ID scanner, which I addressed. I know every individual that comes into our establishment gets ID'd. If they act out of line, they get barred. They can never come back. They also can't go to my other 2 establishments. So chances are they don't want to act up because they get barred from 2 other places. The doors lock at 1 o'clock. We lock them at 12:30. A police officer stands out there. We let 2 at a time in, 3 at a time, clear the security, clear the metal detectors, pay the door, and then get in. I feel it was not alcohol-related. It's a culture-related thing that happened. I can't control what's going on in today's society, just like you guys couldn't control what happened in Revere Beach. I guarantee it was the same clients that came to my establishment that were at Revere Beach fighting. What should we do to prevent that? Maybe start arresting more people at the Squire. We want them, don't come on the property, arrest them for trespassing. Be able to get the hint, but don't let them out in 30 seconds. Keep them in there for a week. So I need some help too. We have a great rapport with the police officers. They asked us to change the uniforms. I spent the money to change the uniforms of the security guards so they can identify them. We were closed for 2 years. Not that there was problems, but we lost millions and millions of dollars with no government help. We didn't get any PPP money. So we were going bankrupt. And I have children to feed. My brother has children to feed. We all want to pay our bills. So to be penalized, to resort back from 2 to 1 o'clock for something that we didn't control or was our fault, it's not right. If I make a mistake, I own up to it. I'll look you in the face and say, you know what, I made a mistake, let me fix it. Everything you guys ever asked me to do, I have done. I run a good operation. I can't control today's culture. I wish I could. That's all I have to say.
All right, well, so, just so I know this from, so I have this straight, everybody who comes in, their ID is scanned, and you keep a record of who entered the establishment?
Correct. Let me give you a couple of these that so you can say for your note. That's the security company hired, and that's the ID scan from the second page. The second page is the ID scanner.
And how many from Guardian Capital, how many of these people are in the building on a typical?
No, they're a consultant. They drop off our security manual. They come in to train our staff. They tell us the protocol. They teach us the CPR, tip certified for our staff, what to do in a situation.
So were you saying you hired them, or you're just looking at?
No, we've hired them. They've been with us for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So
They're outside consultants.
So were these consultants on your payroll at the time of this incident?
Yes, they were.
And did they recommend the number of people to have in there based upon your situation?
We have between 7 and 10 security guards every night, which is more than enough at the establishment. We never fill capacity. There's no way to have 275 people in that building. We always have anywhere between 85 to 150 people there at all times.
Do you have a counter?
Yes, we do. It's on the ID scanner.
You do, and you keep records of that?
Yes, we do.
So I know we had an establishment on the beach, and he thought he used to have 50, 60 people. Then when he started using the clicker, he realized it was double.
Right,
But, so the clicker is a very good thing to have.
correct. I mean, I don't understand why, Lieutenant is counting my money at the door. I mean, I'm not complaining about paying the cop details at $75 an hour. So for him to count my money to come up with a situation by saying,
Well, I don't think he was counting your money,
Okay,
sir.
that's
I
fine.
think he was just giving an example of
Right.
people running there. And you have to understand, truthfully, we have surrounding towns at 1 o'clock.
right.
Listen, you understand.
But 90% of these kids
They're
don't,
out having a good time, they're
Right.
gonna look for last call.
90% of these people after 1 o'clock don't even drink alcohol. They're all smoking marijuana. That's today's culture. You can tell that by the liquor sales.
I can believe that.
Liquor sales are way down at any restaurant, and they'll tell you that's the reason. As soon as they started selling marijuana, liquor sales dropped.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole different story for
Well,
me. I don't know that,
I understand, that's the real world
Yeah, I
situation
just
right now,
don't-
right?
Right, and the world's, I don't agree with everything that's going on in the world. But as far as, I just want to clarify one thing. The incident that happened at Revere Beach had nothing to do with anyone that would have been at your establishment. If they were all underage. So it had not, they
Well,
were not the same people.
I have known, and I have pictures from people that were 25 and above Snapchatting pictures out at Revere Beach. So I would debate that. I'm not here to debate, I'm just telling you, I know I've seen the pictures.
Okay, well, I just, I don't know what to say. I don't know how my colleague feels. I'm always concerned when the police come before us and they wouldn't come. We very rarely see them, actually. I want to thank them for coming tonight because they only come in serious situations.
Right.
And, to hear that a cop was in trouble in an establishment is, extremely concerning. Even though you say you had several security, I think the first thing they would have went to help the police officer because that's where
Well, that's what my
the
manager did.
problem
You can-
must have been.
You can see the videotape, my manager pulling the guy off the officer.
Right,
It's clear on tape, my manager saved him.
right, that's the first thing they should have done.
Right.
But I still am concerned about the closing on the hours. I'm concerned about last call, what you have for last call. So you're saying last call is 1:30.
There's not 1 ounce of alcohol that goes over that bar after 1:30.
1:30 is last call.
Last
So,
call. The lights go on at 20 of 2, but you could bring other officers in there, Officer Fantasia, Michael, Joe and Nicole, they'll tell you, no alcohol gets sold after 1:30. We're very adamant about that.
Well, that's
That's the law. Yeah, we follow it, right.
Right. So, I mean, thank you for following the law, but it is
Right.
the law. So I just think that, so let's address this, 1 o'clock, and address the last call running from our surrounding towns with the 1 o'clock license. And nowhere am I saying that everybody should be penalized on a 1 o'clock license. We've done that before. I'll speak for myself. I did that before. People have proven themselves that 2 o'clock licenses, they can handle it now, and they know what to do. So I guess my biggest concern here would be on your last call. You're saying last call is 1:30. Maybe if it were earlier, people wouldn't be running to your establishment.
Can I speak for 1 second?
Your name and address for the record,
My name
please.
is Robert DePisa. I am 604 Squire Road. I'm one of the owners of the establishment as well. When that incident happened, obviously, we were upset about it, as well as everyone else here. After that incident, about 3 days after that incident, we sat down with some of the officers that do details at our place, and they gave us some recommendations. And we took that to heart. From that point on, we went to 2 full details on the Sunday night because the Sunday nights were getting busy. We used to have 1. We went through 2 details on a Thursday night, so we've increased that. So to the cost of about $14,000 a month. It's not cheap. We know it has to happen because of the nature of the culture out there today. They don't have respect for police officers, which is sickening to me, but I can't control that. That's somebody else who's handling that. The other thing I wanted to bring to attention is a lot of the customers are from Revere. There are others from out of town, out of state that come in. However, if you look at everyone's ID that lives right up and down Broadway and lives in every apartment, they're getting their subsidies from Boston, from Roxbury, from Mattapan, from Hyde Park. The landlords are letting them stay there with their state IDs, so they get a higher subsidy from the state because there's no more housing in Boston, because there's no more affordable. So when they see people like that and say, oh, they're not from here, they're from another town, they are living right here in Revere. Not every one of them is. I understand we're Chelsea, Revere, Malden, Saugus, there is a lot of town. But I just want to kind of clarify that. And the other thing we did do that was most important was we went and we locked our front doors and have a police officer and one of our security guys at the front door from around 12 o'clock, 12:15, and we selectively let a couple people in at a time so it's more organized and more in control. At 1 o'clock, it's completely locked. Police officer stands at that door and does not allow another person in there. I've had people that work for me at my other establishments that try to come down there at 1:15, we won't let them in. And those are the things that we've done to change. Just to inform.
I just want to know if the police officer agrees with that. Is that what happens? It is, okay, thank you. Okay. Thank you, I just wanted to clear that up. So 12 o'clock, they are at the door, okay.
Yes. Thank you.
And you've gone to plastic cups, is that?
Yes. We have no more glass in the building.
And so if I order a beer there, do I get the bottle and the cup?
No,
And I pour, or I just get the, what do I get?
You get the bottle.
Right now, you get the bottle.
So
I mean,
let's-
that kind of defeats the plastic cup.
I understand. That is one of the only things that we haven't transferred out of was the bottle. We're looking into it. Right now, we're having an issue with getting product. We're having an issue with getting all this stuff to make sure that we're 100% plastic, but that's probably one of the only items that is still in a bottle.
Is
I mean-
that, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. No, I mean, I'm just, the way I'm feeling right now, you know, the last call, I'm concerned about the time of that. And I think more what I'm looking for is that the police officers are satisfied with the changes and they feel comfortable with what's going on and what your changes are. So that,
I believe if you speak to Johnny Gaggs, who's in charge of the detail officers, he'll tell you they're all 100% satisfied. But I mean, we would have to ask Johnny Gaggs or see what his theory is about that. He's the one who's in charge of it.
do you feel that way?
I mean, historically, you know, we've had problems in the, you know, at the Squire as long as I've been working here. This was a bad event that went on, and they've made changes, they say, you know, to the security, to the protocols, and time will tell, I guess. I mean, that's the police, we have no control over hours of operation.
Right.
We have no control over that. We deal the hand we are dealt. The police officers go there for the detail time, and unfortunately, right now, the way that we handle the closing is officers from the shift go down there to prevent further problems. If they didn't, I mean, it's the bar's contention that police officers are calling their friends to come down and hang out in the parking lot of the Squire, which I think that's a mischaracterization. The police officers are going to the Squire because they're assisting with the closing of the establishment to the detriment of other members of the community. So like I said, we deal with the problems we have, and that right now, that's how it works. And if the security protocols, these new protocols, help with the problem, that time will tell. That remains to be seen. But right now, it is what it is.
Gentlemen, from your perspective, what could the bar do differently to facilitate the closing so that it doesn't require a shift to go down there, the whole shift? What could you guys do with your security to make that situation workable?
One of the things that we did, as my brother alluded to, was we put 6 floodlights in the parking lot. If you go down there at any night, it was very dark in there, and the lights from National Grid were not ample enough for our parking lot, so we went and put them in so that the entire parking lot is lit up really bright so that they won't hang around in the parking lot. That's one of the things that they leave our place and nobody wants to go home. And that's part of the reason why the police officers come down and drive through the parking lot and, you know, push them out the door. We also, we started turning the lights on in our establishment a lot earlier, around 20 minutes of 2 rather than 10 minutes of 2 before. So we're getting them out 10 minutes earlier than we normally were, just to try to get them out. Unfortunately, when you have 100 people going out into cars all at the same time, it does take a little bit to clear the parking lot.
Do your security people walk through the parking lot at closing time, kind of urging people to leave?
They'll walk through with the police officer.
With the police officer, but it's nothing that they do on their own. In other words, say you have 7 to 10 security people. Do you have like 2 that would walk through the parking lot urging people to leave the premises? Get in your vehicle, let's go, it's time to go.
The police details usually ask them, let us handle it, and that's what they do.
Well, I'm getting from the shift commander that he would rather not have the whole shift there having to do that, that if there was something that you folks could do to facilitate that, that might ease the burden of the police department having to have multiple vehicles go down to move people out of the lot.
What recommendation would Lieutenant want? I mean, does he want the detail officers to get rid of the people in the parking lot? Or does he want the security staff? What's his recommendation?
Lieutenant, do you have a feeling on that, of what the establishment could do to facilitate the exit of people off the property so that the Revere Police don't have to come down with the full shift to move people along?
Speaking from the management, we have, it's with any establishment, they congregate in a parking lot. Usually, staff from an establishment like the Squire, they don't go into the parking lots. They're more for internal and to deal with the issues there. That's why the officers, the detail officers, will walk out of the establishment as the doors are closed once they call last call. So the police officer, one usually would stay inside, because if there's the 2 officers, one would stay inside to make sure the people are funneling out, and the other officer would try to pull the cars out of the parking lot. Could they have some people in the parking lot? They could, but it's really, that's more of a police function at that point, just to make sure that everybody exits, and so, yes.
Is that the detail that does that, the detail that they hire, are those the ones that go in the parking lot?
They would be. There's 2 officers that are assigned there, and usually one would stay inside, or sometimes they both, depend on the crowd, and then one would exit the establishment to try to get the cars. Like, hey guys, come on, everybody get into their cars. As the managers, owners have said, when you get a crowd, you know, I could have 30 officers there. It's still hard to get the crowd into their cars, because who's talking, who's this? I mean, they eventually do get into their cars. That does sometimes issues arise in the parking lot? Yes, but usually once they're outside of the building, usually they're getting in their cars. If it takes a few minutes to get out, that's not really the big concern
Okay.
that I see. I don't see any that way, because once they're getting into their cars, they're usually leaving.
What if, I mean, I ask you a question. What if we give them one warning, if they don't leave the property, arrest them for trespassing? Now, if 15, 20 people start getting arrested, they'll know that we mean business.
That would be unrealistic to
Okay.
start arresting people for trespassing in a parking lot like that. One, the courts would, that's another whole
No,
issue.
right.
Can we try to get them out of the parking lot a little faster? We can. Maybe we can have one of the officers, depending on the crowd, we'll have, if both officers are standing inside, maybe we'll talk to John Gagliardi to tell them one of the officers has to go into the parking lot and try to get the guys into their cars faster, to try to get off the property faster.
Okay.
And maybe that might, so if there's one officer inside, one officer outside at closing time, that might help pull the traffic out a little and stuff.
Very good. Well, you've heard his explanation and his remedies for what went on. Are you satisfied that the establishment is doing what they can do under the circumstances to make this safe for everybody?
I'll say it as this. No business wants problems because then it's bad business. So I'm sure both of these gentlemen want to do whatever they can to have a safe business. I do believe that. I don't believe there's any malicious intent behind them that, they throw caution to the wind. But like Lieutenant Randall had just mentioned, proof is in the pudding. Hopefully the change they've made since this incident happened will decrease the need to have officers constantly, having the officers go down. Hopefully people will learn that, they mean business, that you're out, you're out. But let me just say, one of the things about like that night in question, I just want to piggyback on what the gentleman had said. That night, we had one officer inside, and there was another officer that wasn't on detail. He was on the shift, he was in the parking lot. He ran inside. We would have loved to have made more arrests that night, but because of the chaotic nature and trying to get officers on scene, it's more tending to the people that are injured, protecting ourselves, getting everybody out. The assailants who did the initial problem, they do their deeds and ran out the door. So trying to now arrest those people, the people now we're trying to get everybody out as more officers get there. Some of those people that caused the problem, and we being in a dark establishment, you can't say, oh, that's the guy who punched me, that's the guy who did this, that. So it's a little more difficult. Believe me, we advocate to make as many arrests as we can in a situation like this. Because as the gentleman said, that's a big deterrent. If they know the police are going to arrest you, it will. And I'll speak with Lieutenant Randall about this. When we do see infractions, maybe we're going to have to take a little more hardline approach inside so that it'll deter the bad element from going to their establishment.
Absolutely.
But like I said, I would follow Lieutenant Randall's suggestion. Let's see how their change is made. Hopefully, their changes will work and we won't have these issues anymore. Again, I'm not trying to hurt a business, but I'm just saying it is what it is. I'm worried about my officers and the community. That's my job, their job is an entertainment business. So it's hopefully we can mesh it together so that both of our concerns are addressed.
Thank you, Lieutenant. We appreciate it.
Well, so far since we implemented all those security measures and everything, there hasn't been an incident since that night. That's been back in February. So we're on a good track moving forward.
Have any of those patrons tried to come back?
Absolutely. They've been trying to come back for 6 weeks in a row. They finally get the hint not to come back. Because as soon as you scan their ID, it pops up, you were involved in a fight incident at such and such date, you're no longer welcome. So,
Okay.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
thank you.
No.
Do that. Gentlemen, we only have 2 members here.
Yes.
And so, to give you the option of a vote before the entire membership, we could continue it, or you could have us make our decision, just the 2 of us. We will.
Well, whatever's easy for you, I have no problem continuing it. So whatever you guys want to do for the right thing.
I mean, I am, of the mind that even with a full board, we would continue it for a period just to see exactly how your new security situation is working out. And if it looks like you've addressed the issues that led to this particular situation. I mean, there's not much we can do at the moment about the 2 o'clock license, although we could, I suppose, roll back your hours if that was something that we thought would address the issues. But at this point, I mean, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like it is a situation that the police department has worked with the establishment. They have made remedial changes and done some things that have seemed to have worked over the past 6 weeks. There hasn't been any incidents since. They do have the ability to bar people as necessary. So, I mean, I would be okay with continuing this for another 30, 60 days and seeing how it goes before we would make any formal determination about a rollback or any other action that the board would be inclined to make. How do you feel about that?
I agree with you. I agree with 90%, but the only thing I have to say is the police are our eyes and ears out there. They're the ones that, like Lieutenant Randall, I mean, they're the ones that give us the information. So when they come to us with information, you know, I've got to believe them. I know what they say. They're not going to come for no reason. So I'm going to go along with my officers as to what they want to do. My colleague brings up a lot of good points. Maybe if they're okay with a trial period, I wouldn't call it a continuance, maybe a trial period as to how the new procedure's working out, and then come back with an update.
I mean, would you like me to get the police officers that work there on a regular basis to come and speak? Because, I mean, they tell us the way it is. I mean, they tell us we're making a mistake or not, and they seem to be very happy what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
talking about,
I think these officers are more concerned about what happened this time, especially with the broken bottle, and I guess I'm looking at this particular incident that concerned me. I think that the best thing right now, if the officers are okay with it, I will agree to continue it on a trial basis with your new procedures in place. And then an update, and if the two officers could come back, or at least report to Lieutenant Randall and let us know what their feelings are in that time period, I would go along with that with my colleague, just time-wise.
Yes, what type of a trial period or situation would you be looking for?
I personally would be looking for, you know, the summer's coming. I don't want to say 60 days only because, you know, we are coming in a tough time where your business is going to pick up a little more now. Hopefully everybody's does. So, you know, I have no problem with 30 days, or if the officers think longer is okay, that they're okay with that. Although, on the other hand, if something happens, we'll call you back in anyway, so I guess the trial time doesn't make any difference.
No, I would think that, you know, we could probably reassess it in 60 days. However, if there is an incident, you know, you'll find yourself back here before that.
correct.
All right, so we'll continue this for 60 days as it is. We will look at at least that'll be my motion. I'll make a motion to continue it for 60 days.
Yep, I'm fine.
And if there is a incident, we will obviously call you back in and address it at that point, at which point we may have to make a recommendation to roll back hours or make some other type of changes. But at this point, I'm satisfied that you have tried to do your best to alleviate this. The police seem to be satisfied that you are working with them, and we can all agree that, you know, the society is a little kind of crazy, and, you know, we're making the best of the situation that we can.
Correct.
So as long as we're all working and all on the same page, you know, I don't have a problem with, you know, continuing it for 60 days.
Okay, thank
So
you.
that would be my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, officers. We appreciate your time. We're going to return to the regular agenda. Item number 6 has been, no, I'm sorry, item number 5, FLA USA Inc., Harry Delarusso Stadium. Manuel Mazzeo is the event manager. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, sir.
That's all right. It's easy if you say Manny. It's a
Thank
very
you.
common name here in Boston.
Thank you, Manny.
My name is Manuel Maria Mizayo. I live in 268 West Quincy,
Very good.
Massachusetts.
And this is an application for a one-day malt wine license
Yes.
to be exercised at Harry Delarusso Stadium on May 28th, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And this is for a mini soccer tournament between retired professional soccer players
Yes, sir.
and their fans, and the estimated attendance is 250.
Yes, that's
Can
what
you-
it's estimated, but we don't know how many people is going to show up. We never done this before, not in that nature. We are a soccer fan club from a Brazilian soccer team, which has a lot of fans around here in this area, especially here in Revere, Everett, and Malden. We are they call us a consulate. Flamengo, it's a soccer team from Brazil, and they have like many organizations to support them around the world. So we are a non-profit organization with around 400 members. And for us, in order to become part of this organization, we need to be a non-profit organization, and we have to, all the money we have, it has to be returned to charities and social actions in our community. So we are being advised by some members of the City Hall that we should sell liquor, sell some alcohol on the time of that event to help us out with our cause. I have a restaurant background. I've been working in many restaurants like Davio's, Novara, Abbey Park. Nowadays, I am a manager. I'm general manager of a restaurant in Walpole. I am tip certified. I am choke certified. I have ServerSafe. I have allergen awareness, all the certifications necessary, even though we're only going to serve alcohol in this event. It's going to be a very peaceful event. These are 50, 60, some 70 years old former soccer players that every year we bring them here to Boston to meet their friends. And we do have a little soccer tournament. So we take all these 5 players, we divide them in 5 different teams so the fans can play with them. Among these fans would be like 50 years old people, 60 years old boys. It's just like to having fun. They want to meet the idols, and they want to take pictures and have their jerseys signed and so and so.
So when you say
Yes, ma'am.
mini soccer, who's playing
No,
the
no, no,
soccer?
it's a mini tournament.
Oh, mini
It's not a
tournament,
huge,
okay.
it's gonna be,
I thought it was a kids' tournament.
oh, no, it's, it'll be some kids over there playing like ball with the players, but it's a mini
And
tournament.
you got 5 retired professionals coming.
Yes, yes. I can cite their names, and I don't believe you know them, but yes. They are very famous soccer players from Brazil, from our
Sounds like
team.
a fun event.
It is a fun event, and the most important thing is it's going to be peaceful because it's not like 2 teams. It's everybody from the same team playing with their players, so there's no rivalry. Or no, it's not going to be like 2 different teams or 2 different,
Right.
It's going to be just a very peaceful event.
Very good. I see that you have addressed a lot of the issues that we typically have. I see that you are tip certified.
Yes.
And you are going to have volunteers at the gates.
Oh, people are trying to pay me to be the volunteers because they want to be close to the players. So we have more than 12 now. So we're going to have people at the gates, make sure no alcohol leaves the premises. I myself will be selling the alcohol, and I have among with me some of my bartenders from the restaurant that I work at. They are also tip certified. So we're going to make sure we're going to sell only cans or those aluminum bottles because we don't want glasses in the stadium, especially to avoid littering and to clean it later. So cans are easy to be crushed and put in trash bags, and so we can leave the stadium as clean as we found it.
Very good. All right, well, thank you very much. Do you have any other questions on this?
No, I don't know. Do we need police detail, or do you have any detail?
According to Mr. Hinenosa, which is the stadium, he said with that amount of people, we don't need detail.
You don't need it with the
No, he said
250?
if it...
With the alcohol?
He said we don't. Usually we don't, but if we'll be glad to pay for one if it's necessary.
I'll have the detail office contact Mike Hinojosa, and we'll discuss it.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. All right, thank you, sir. We're going to close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of the soccer tournament?
Fly USA New England.
Fly USA
The,
New
the
England?
team is called Flamengo. So it's from from Flamengo and USA because we're here, and New England because we represent the New England states, the
Very
5
good.
states, yeah.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? No, I don't see anybody opposed. Anybody opposed to the Fly USA New England soccer tournament? We don't see or hear anybody. I'll make a motion to approve this.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you very
good.
much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. The application for the one-day malt wine license for Fly USA, Inc., to be exercised at Harry Delarusso Stadium on Saturday, May 28, 2022, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. is approved. Thank you, sir. Item number 6 is continued. Item number 7, Amazon American Legion Park. Rob Meehan is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day mobile food vendor and entertainment license to be exercised at American Legion Park on Saturday, June 1st at from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event is a military appreciation day with food, music, and games. There'll be 2 food trucks. Your name and address for the record, please.
Holly St. Jean, 20 Craig Drive.
Thank you very much. Can you explain what you'd like to do with this license, please?
Yeah, I just want to correct the date. It's June 11th. I don't know if he mistyped it when he was filling out the application.
Did I say June 11th? Or
You
did I-
said June 1st.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure it's right on our end.
No, it does say June 11th. I
Perfect.
only read one of the ones. Thank you.
Do I have a different agenda?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think so, because this is a late edition.
Okay, I have it, thank you.
Yeah, I had Charlie and
okay.
Maggie helping me complete it yesterday.
Okay, very good. And so can you explain briefly what you'd like to do about this, with this license?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're putting together a military appreciation event. We were originally going to do it in May, but the American Legion Park wasn't going to be ready because they're resodding it, and it's kind of the perfect place to have it. So Charlie suggested moving it to June 11th. So we're going to have a couple food trucks, lawn games, some music. We got military Amazon swagger we're going to be giving out via prize wheel. And then we'll also have an application table for folks that want to apply to the Revere warehouse as well. So it's just kind of giving back to the community, military veterans currently serving and families.
And it's also, did you say a job fair kind of?
Yeah, we'll have like a hiring table as well in case they want to apply to jobs in Revere. And we also have a warehouse in Everett.
Very good. Do you have any questions regarding this event?
No, I have no questions. Sounds like a nice event.
Yeah, it was really exciting. I brought it to the Revere Chamber of Commerce when we went to the job fair a couple weeks ago, and they were really ecstatic about putting it together. So our Revere warehouse, some of the leadership and the associates are going to come down and help out as well.
Now, just so I'm clear, when you say the American Legion Park, you're talking about the American Legion building right over here on Broadway,
Yes,
right?
correct.
And the food trucks are going to be where exactly?
I'm not sure, because I was trying to visualize it with Charlie over the phone. He said he could show us where to park it. So I sent him the diagram. He said he could make it work somehow on the perimeter of the park.
Okay, it looks like, if I'm getting this diagram correctly, that the food truck is going to be parked along the curb
Yeah.
on the right-hand side of the building as you face out.
Yeah, that's our vision currently.
Very good. Thank you very much. I'll close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of this? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to appreciating the military? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The application for a one-day mobile food vendor and entertainment license to be exercised at the American Legion Building on Saturday, June 11th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Is approved. Thank you very much. The last item on the agenda is item number 8, MHF Logan Operating V LLC, DBA Hampton Inn Revere, 230 Lee Burbank Highway. Corey Casano is the manager. This is a hearing into the parking violations and conditions of the parking lot license, which is continued from our March meeting. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Sure. Sam Suda, 230 Lee Burbank Highway, Revere.
Thank you very much, sir. And as I recall, you're the manager of...
I am, yes, sir. I'm the general manager. Corey was the previous general manager.
Okay, very good. And we have seen the paperwork, and it looks to be that you have complied with the issues that we had addressed previously.
We certainly have, and we haven't had any issues since the March incident.
Very good. And I see that you have a parking company that is now has consulted with you and given you recommendations, and you also have an agreement with a tow company to alleviate the
That is
parking
correct.
situation.
Certainly. Any unauthorized vehicles or illegally parked vehicles, the towing company are authorized to remove those vehicles right away.
Very good. We have been in contact with the Revere Fire Department. They have made some spot checks of your property and say that you have certainly done what you said you were going to do. I've been by there a couple times myself, and I see that the situation is greatly improved, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I thank you. I took this really to heart because not only do I work in Revere, we live in Revere. We moved from Maryland. We live off Revere Beach Boulevard. Unfortunately, we witnessed the chaos that happened on Saturday, but certainly this is my community as much as everyone else's, and thank you for everyone who welcomed us to our community. I have 2 little ones and my wife, so we're very
Very good.
happy, certainly.
Welcome to Revere.
Thank you, thank you. I look a little tired. My wife is a little sick on Sunday, so I've been taking care of the kids during the night. I have 2 little ones, and then she's taking care of them, while I'm at work, so.
Well, we appreciate it, sir.
You're only back there yawning and trying to stay awake, that's the reason
No,
why.
I understand. I have the same problems at some of these meetings myself. Do you have any questions for?
I have no questions. I've gone over all the reports. They look good. You've
Thank you,
done
ma'am.
everything you should have.
Thank you.
And I have no questions.
I'm satisfied that you've addressed the issues.
Thank you.
And I think we can dismiss this matter.
Please, thank you.
And I'm satisfied that we have fulfilled the obligation.
Thank you, and I mean this from the pit of my heart, and with a grain of salt. I hope I never see you again at this podium. Hope I'll see you on the outside.
Thank you very much,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you.
Have a
This
good day.
matter is dismissed.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. That concludes the hearings. The next items are communications. We have a notification from the Massachusetts Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission of the approval of a new all-alcohol restaurant license for Lupita Revere LLC, DBA Lupita Restaurant, and a notification from the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission of the approval of a new all-alcohol restaurant license of AM Salgado LLC, DBA La Hacienda 2. And that concludes the items on today's agenda. I would make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion till,
I'll make a motion to adjourn till June 15th.
do you want a condolence to our college?
Yes, I would like to send out our condolences to our colleague, Dan Ocina, whose brother passed away. We send our deepest sympathies and wish him and his family the best.
Amen.
Thank you very much, and that concludes today's meeting.